And as much as I'm here for social work slander, I'm also here for social work love. Hello, I am Anna. I have officially been a graduated social worker with my master's for about 6 months now, and today I want to talk about why I love social work. It is so easy and honestly pretty interesting lots of times to talk about more negative parts of a job or of the field of study. Obviously, as you probably know, if you've ever heard about social work, there are a lot of jokes at the expense of social work, at the expense of social workers, and even more serious than that, there's a lot of discussion that's needed about the faults of the profession and what should be better and what could be better. However, as much as it is easy and good to talk about those things, I also want to make sure that I always maintain a balance of reinforcing why I love the profession, because obviously I chose it as my college major. I chose to go to grad school for it, and I'm choosing right now to have a job in it. And for the foreseeable future, I see myself staying in social work. So obviously I love the profession, but I don't think I always talk about exactly why I love the profession. The list that I came up with today is definitely not all inclusive. There are definitely a multitude of reasons why I love the profession and why I have chosen to spend my life doing it, but I do think that they are some good positives that sometimes I may brush over. And as much as I'm here for social work slander, I'm also here for social work love. That being said, before we get into the list, go ahead and comment what your favorite thing or one of your favorite things about social work is, and then we can see if we match up on any. Also like and subscribe. So number one, I love that social work focuses on empowerment. Lots of times whenever you maybe first hear about social work or you don't know too much about it, or maybe you're just deciding to get into it, a reason that lots of people give for why they want to be social workers is I just want to help people. And while that's not an incorrect answer, it is one that after a couple years and learning more about the profession, your answer should expand beyond that, because the truth of the matter is that in any profession you can help people. Literally any job you have, you can help people. And so then it's like the need to focus in more on what specifically about social work draws you to want to do it as a method to help people. And for me, one of those things is the focus on empowerment. Social work isn't just about me entering into someone's life and fixing their problem for them and then saying, all right, go ahead now. It's about me partnering with people and identifying the barriers that are in place for them reaching the point that they want to in life. Whether those barriers are physical, tangible, financial, they're having trouble getting resources they need, or if those barriers are emotional, mental, behavioral, like I want to be at this point in life, but I keep acting this way and I don't know how to change that. Social work is about partnering in that process and being able to lower those barriers, identify and lower those barriers so that the individual can do the work themselves. Although it's fun to get to be a part of people's processes, and that's something I'll even talk about later, the fact of the matter is that if a client does not want to change, then they will not be changing. And social work is really about bringing out that intrinsic motivation. If you want to be this place, how can you get there? And then if there's any assistance needed along the way, that's where social work comes in. So the focus on empowerment is one of my favorite things about social work, and one of the reasons why I chose social work as my method of helping people in my profession. Coming along with that, a lot, maybe not all of, but a lot of social work's values and like code of ethics and everything align with my own personal values. And one of those is the inherent worth of a person and the inherent dignity that a person has just by being a person. I believe, and then also the profession of social work professes, that any human who is a human has worth, and they don't have to earn that, and they never lose that. There's so much that we could go into about this and why it's beneficial, and why if everyone in the world believed this, there'd be a lot of things that were different. But just on a personal level of why I like social work, just based on this inherent worth and dignity, is that we live in a world that just has so much going on, you know? And it is infinitely more pleasurable, more enjoyable, and easier to go about a day loving people and believing that they are doing the best that they can in the situation in which they are in than it is to go about your day picking out faults in people and finding the worst in people. Like just like on a personal, like selfish level, it is so much easier to go through a day believing that people are doing their best that they can than it is to go through a day not doing that. And so I love that social work has that as one of the principles, one of the values of social work, because that is definitely something that I believe as well. Coming to a professional side, another thing that I love about social work is the versatility of the field. A lot of what I learned in school is what I kind of like to refer to as evidence-based soft skills. Like I learned how to be an active listener, I learned how to problem solve, I learned how to empower people, things like that are like the evidence-based soft skills. And the fact of the matter is that I believe my education prepared me for basically any job that I could want from here on out. Now obviously listen to me say like any job I could want, like I can't just go and be a medical doctor right now with my social work education, but I also don't want that. I mean, like within the field of social work, you can move around to so many different locations, different clientele, populations. There's so many different things that you can do as a social worker with the same education, and your day can look so different from any other social worker, which is why I think it's cool to watch like day in the life of a social worker, or just like see different people's journeys, because lots of times there are jobs that you may not even know exist that you can still get with your current educational background as a social worker, and it's still in the same field, even though maybe you go from working in a youth detention center to a school, but then you could also go to a hospital, but then you could also go to a shelter for unhoused people, or you could also go to a private practice, or you could work for the government, or you could take on an elected office. Like there's so many different things you can do, and that versatility is something that really drew me to social work, because if I ever get tired at a job that I'm at, I can basically have a whole career change, except it's not actually a whole career change because it's still social work. Something else that I love about social work is that it's helping people in ways that have actually been shown to help people. Social work is big on evidence and on research and on doing evidence-based practices, research-backed practices. I could enter a population and just decide for myself what I think could be helpful to them and go about it, and it could be super harmful. And lots of times when people have done that, it is super harmful to the communities in which they're doing that in. So I really like that universities are continually doing research. Lots of people in social work are continually doing research. I'm just thinking about universities because there are studies that have been done that show like, okay, if a person is having these presenting problems, these are the options that have been shown to help people out in the past. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just going in blind being like, well, maybe this will work. It's no, this is backed by evidence, and if we want like this goal, this outcome, then this is a path that we could take to try to get there. And so a lot of like my energy spent in a day lots of times is sifting through articles and research studies and everything to find ways to help my clients. And again, whenever I say help, we're talking about the whole empowerment process that we began this video out with. But it's not a gamble of, oh, well, I'm gonna try this thing and maybe it'll be really helpful, but maybe it'll be really harmful. No, we focus on things that have been shown to be helpful, and then obviously like are held accountable through licensing boards and through supervision and everything like that. But you're not just guessing if something's going to help. It's helping in ways that have been shown to help. Something else I love about social work is the creativity that's involved. And this is something that maybe you wouldn't just immediately think of like, oh, social work is a creative profession. And it's not necessarily creative in like the art type of way, though it could be depending on the activities you do with your clients. But I just mean the fact that each and every day is going to be different, and so each and every day you have to come up with new ways to problem solve, new ways to assess, new ways to intervene, and understanding that just because a problem maybe has persisted for many years doesn't mean that it's going to persist forever. And maybe there have been hundreds of people who have tried to problem solve like a specific problem or something like that, and now you get to come around with a new mind and be like, well, have we tried this yet? Have we tried this yet? It's creativity in the problem solving. Part of this creativity is understanding that sometimes in social work, when you're advocating, you'll be met with a hard no, and understanding the fact that that no does not mean that your job is done. That no means, all right, back to the drawing board. How can I adjust this? How can I make this into something that can get changed to be made? It's not at all a cut and dry profession. A lot of it is creativity, which honestly just makes days kind of fun. The next thing I'm going to mention that I love about social work is something that, while I do love it, it's not something that you can necessarily rely on to maintain your love for social work, but that is moments of reassurance, whether this comes from clients or colleagues or supervisors or supportive people of clients. Whenever you see a client that has shown progress, has made steps to reaching where they want to, what their goals are, see steps towards a problem actually being solved, that hits different. That's a good feeling. You know the TikTok trend that's like moments during whatever that altered my brain chemistry? Clients expressing gratitude for my role as a social worker have been moments that have altered my brain chemistry. And like I said, that's not something you can rely on because that's not always something that will come to fruition like that where you get to see it. Lots of times as social workers, we're planting seeds that maybe will come to fruition later in the client's life, or things can feel, hopeless, dark, whatever. That's not this video. But in the moments where clients have made a breakthrough or have said, like, thank you for counseling me through this, or have said, like, I used to really struggle with this and now I don't. Those are moments that like really keep me going. I really love that about social work. That kind of leads me into the next thing that I love about social work is just the clients that I've met. There are people that I would have never had the pleasure of meeting if I wasn't in the roles that I have been in my life. And I feel really lucky to have gotten to meet such strong, resilient people. I mean, I guess this kind of ties in with the inherent worth too of a person. And my clients are never something that I will speak about on the internet, obviously. I think that could go without saying, but just know that they're really cool people and I feel really lucky to get to be a part of their lives. And that goes for every single client that I've had. This one is also tied into that, but another thing that I love about social work is just that I get to be a piece of someone's transformation journey. I am not someone's transformation journey. Like I said, I'm not doing the change for them. I'm not doing the work for them. With any social work, honestly, the client will be working harder than you, but that's part of the empowerment thing, you know? So I will never have claimed to have fixed anyone or to have like groundbreakingly helped them. But obviously I play a role in them meeting their goals in whatever situation that's going to be, depending on whichever role I'm in. People change and they can change in ways that are transformational to their lives. And I just feel really lucky and I love getting to be a little piece of that puzzle that gets them there. It's really special. Lastly, the thing I love about social work, and this one is a little bit controversial. It definitely requires nuance. And I definitely have been and will continue to make videos that talk about the nuance that's required in the social work profession. But I do feel that this profession as a whole, though it is so far from perfect, I do believe that it is on the right side of progress. And so I like being on the right side of progress. Though sometimes days can be hard, I like fighting for my clients. I like fighting for social change. I like fighting for social justice. And social work has given me an avenue to fine tune those skills and those passions and hopefully do a little something with my life that affects the world in some type of way. Like I mentioned in the beginning, please comment what you love about social work because I do think that this is as important of a discussion as the nuance and the imperfections of social work is. And obviously anyone who's in this profession, there's a reason that we got into this profession and there's a reason that we stay, whatever that may be. So I think there were 9 reasons. These 9 reasons are part of the reasons why I get up and go to work every day, even if the days kind of suck sometimes. I obviously love my job and I love my profession or else I wouldn't be staying in it. I appreciate the time that you took out of your day to watch this video and I hope you choose to stick around for more videos that will be coming in the future. But with all of that being said, I'll see you next time.